Today I'm continuing working on the frame. I've got the swing arm on, and with the shocks in the stock location, you only get about 4 inches of travel in the rear. So I'm going to try to find a better location to mount the shocks to get more travel. Just using some scrap metal I had laying around, I found a position that will give me 6 inches of travel in the rear. That means I will have to make new lower and upper shock mounts, which means I need to get the engine out. After looking at the frame and thinking about what I want to do with the shocks, I think it's probably best to cut the back of the frame off and start fresh. I've got the frame clean, cut the rear section off, as well as the original gas tank mounts. And now it's almost time to start mocking up the new rear frame. Back inside, I'm going to clean up the swing arm so I can bolt that on while I'm working on the frame. So the frame is clean as well as the swing arm. So now it's just time to get that on so I can start rebuilding the frame. I've got the frame set approximately level. Now I'm going to start building some test pieces for the rear part of the frame. So I've got my first test bin done and also put the original part of the frame back on so I could figure out what the location of the shocks needs to be. So I've got this smaller shock connected to the outside and the rear frame, and the longer shock that I'm going to be using is connected to the part of the frame that I'm going to be keeping. So I can take that back part of the frame back off and start mocking up my new bars for the rear frame. So here's my test piece. If I line it up at the bottom, still don't clear the shock, so I'm gonna have to put a little bit more of a bend in it to get it in front of the shock. So I got this tube pretty close to where I want it at the bottom. Now I'm gonna move on to the bend at the top. One thing I noticed on this frame is the right side frame rail is D-shaped. So I've got to make my slug that's going to fit inside D-shaped as well. So I've got the two upright tubes set pretty close to where I want them. Now I can move on to the horizontal tubes that will connect to the top part of the frame. So I had to take a break from working on the frame. I've been trying to get the title put in my name, and after about 2 months, the DMV came back and said that the frame is actually stolen out of Kansas state. So I had to take it back apart and take it down to the police station for them to run the VIN on it, and it came back clear. So I figured all that out with the DMV, and I finally have the title and a tag for it in my name. So that's going to be it for this video. In the next one, I'm going to start putting it back together and get it ready to weld.